Hello, everyone. Rob Capella here from Kelowna Now. I'm joined by my good friend, Dominic Ramponi. Welcome, Dominic. Thanks for joining me today.
It's always an honor to talk to. I think we might even be related years ago. We're
Probably.
from the same part of Italy.
I think if we go down generation to generation, I'm sure.
So it's always an honor to talk to Rob, and it's always an honor to, well, first of all, I should say thank you to Kelowna Now. They've always been supportive of our ethnic group, the Kelowna Canadian Italian Club. So it's always a pleasure to get the word out there more on what we do with the help of Kelowna Now.
Yeah, and we were just talking before we went on air. So you took me there for lunch once, and it was literally the best lunch I think I've had in years.
Yeah, we had I got elected to the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada West, which the office is in Vancouver. But we have 100 offices in different countries around the world, and we're governed from Italy. Wow. We're not governed from Canada.
Oh,
so we had one board meeting over here, and the gracious Chamber of Commerce let us use the building. The Italian Club had the meal, so we had some politicians and some influential people in like Rob in the community.
And then Rob.
in the community, and it was very well received, and they didn't. Some of the board members of the Italian Chamber that come up here didn't realize the amount of business and the amount of growth that Kelowna had, what Kelowna had to offer. So it was good.
Interesting. And I want to get to that. Before we do, we're here to talk about an event that's happening this weekend on the 2nd. It's called the Festa Della Repubblica.
Yes.
Repubblica. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah.
I want to say Repubblica.
Yes.
So it's Republic Day. Can you tell us a little bit about what the event is?
Sure.
And then we'll chat about what's happening and all that.
And I'm just going to refer to my notes a little bit so I don't get the some of the dates wrong. So the Festa Della Repubblica was to celebrate the flag. And Italy didn't become united as a country till the 1800s. Before it was all these individual, principal, kings and all that kind of stuff. So they got united in the 1800s, but they didn't have an official flag till 1946, which is the flag that they have today. So that's when actually this celebration really took off. And the colors, which I was so surprised how many people that were in Italy, when you ask them, or born in Italy, I was born in Kelowna, but what do the colors represent? Everybody goes, I don't know.
I don't know.
So the green represents the plains and the hills in Italy. Because when you go to Italy, there's a lot of rolling hills where they farm. It's all over from top to bottom. The white represents the iconic Alps, because there's the skiing and the Alps in northern Italy are spectacular, just like the French Alps. They're almost the same. And the red is symbolic of the blood spilled in Italy's fight for independence. So you go from
interesting.
So that's really significant to the Italian culture, because there's always been, even when the Roman Empire, and you go back to the Crusades and World War I and World War II, there's a lot of suffering in the current form of the country of Italy right now. So they wanted to bring that remembrance forward with their flag. So that's real.
I never knew that.
I know.
That's interesting.
So
that's crazy.
So part of this celebration is to bring that forward. Now, the local Kelowna Italian Club has only been celebrating it really in earnest in the last 3 years.
Okay.
First 3 years ago, I had real small. Last year was a little bigger, and this year, through the gracious support of the city, we're closing down part of Lawrence from the Clubhouse right to where the Dragoons or the Armories is. So that part of Lawrence will be closed down. We're going to have some through August Motors and through Jason Augustino from Mervin's Auto Body. We're going to bring some Italian-made cars there. So
that'll be fun.
Yeah, so and there's a couple of private collections that they're coming forward too. But we're also it's a free event, but there's going to be food for purchase. And the food, and I'll explain a little bit of the Italian culture, because this is an important part of our culture.
Yeah.
Is the music is magical. And magical, even when you hear like some of the opera singers going back to the 50s, Mario Lanza, I mean, they were fantastic singers. But it's even magical that and I play it every now and again, probably once a week because I think it's spectacular, is Frank Sinatra's song "My Way," sang in Italian. Oh my God, it's spectacular. So we
should have had that. We should have played that.
House of the Rising Sun in Italian. It's spectacular. So the music's magical, the wine, of course, is magical, and the food is magical. But in saying that, that's not what makes the Italian culture important. What makes it is the preparation of the food. That's the magical part, because you just don't pop it in the microwave and eat. It's at lunchtime you're planning supper already. So, but it's that's the magical part, because if you watch some of the Italian people cook, they're happy, they're singing, they're smiling, and
it's an all-day event.
And the more you eat, the more they love you. Like, it's not.
But also, I think food, I know growing up, brought family together.
Oh, right? Not a question.
Always around the dinner table. That's what brought us together. And then you had the homemade wine and all that sort of stuff. But it was an all-day event when you cook, right? You have to make the sauce from scratch. It's funny you said microwave, because sacrilege in our house, you don't put anything in the microwave.
Well, when my dad was born in Kelowna too, but obviously from Italian heritage. Yeah. So when the microwave came up, he always say, "That's the most stupid invention ever." He said, because when he grew up on the farm on Ben Volan Road, they had fresh pasta, fresh ice cream, fresh eggs. There was no microwave. He said we had fresh stuff all the
every time.
Now we put it in the freezer and warm it up.
Yeah,
there's some disconnect there. So that's a real important part of the Italian heritage, and also it's how and I'm so glad to see there's a lot of younger people like Rob's age that are involved in our club that are taking this forward, because when you're proud of your heritage, and I go to a lot of different functions, and if you're proud of your heritage, people can see that. Yeah. There's something to be proud of. It could be people from India or China or wherever, but they're proud of your heritage. So when you see these younger people getting involved, it's really music to my ears, and makes you feel really, really proud to be involved. So and they're passionate about what they do, and they're passionate about even when you see them growing tomato plants and stuff. Oh my God, that plant is their best buddy. Yeah. Like, you do not touch their tomato plants. If you're not pruning them the right way, you will get told. I know. That's not the way you do it. So
that's funny. So it's interesting you talk about the tradition, because I feel like I was going to ask you, like, events like this, like, I'll say the younger generation, sometimes we lose connection to the culture. We get busy. I remember growing up, right? It was really important. You said the garden, and my grandma and grandpa, and you cooked and you had meals on Sunday. And sometimes we get busy, or we think we're busy, and we lose some of that connection. And I know how important it is to my mom, homeland, where she came, and I feel like events like this really help to connect again, right? So
totally, because even on the planning starts, you start thinking of, okay, we're going to have some pasta, some cookies, cake, and one of the sponsors have been really good the last few years is Peroni beer. So there's a local sales rep in Kelowna, and so he comes forward with some swag in that. It's really quite nice.
You should have brought some to taste today.
Picking it up tomorrow. So that's really a really big thing. But when you see, and you probably can't see this little picture right here, but in Italy, their Air Force, like our snowbirds,
right, okay,
they'll fly over Rome and other cities with all the three colors.
The green, white, and red.
Three colors. So but there's a real push of people like myself, I'm fourth generation in Kelowna, and I've got my Italian citizenship, but I was talking to the consul general the other day in Italy, because some other people were talking about wanting to get their Italian citizenship. Well, it's actually a European passport.
Right.
You have to get your Italian citizen for sure. First, there's such a backlog of people trying to get it.
Interesting.
Like a big push. So people are. That tells me that people are really respecting their cultures. and what they do. So that's a real interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'd love to get mine.
Yeah.
I don't have mine. I'd love to get mine actually, because I feel like, even if my kids the opportunity, and I think that lifestyle would suit me. I'm very like laid back and love to go and visit.
Well, I tell you, we went. My cousin Don,
yeah,
and myself, we went to do some family research, and himself, Don, my cousin Don, I'm Dom, and he's Don. Gord Hotchkiss, he married a girl from Kelowna, and they won a historical award across Canada. They did a 2-hour documentary on the Consorso family.
Interesting.
And he won lots of awards.
Yeah.
And so, that bringing all that together, and they featured all the Italian families that came in the 1800s, 1900s. So they've done a lot of work, and that's brought a lot of people. Oh, I didn't realize that business was here, and so it got recognized a lot. And there was a film crew here. It hasn't been produced yet. They were from Italy, but there were a film crew from Toronto that came over here to do a lot of the historical stuff, like the Italians that came, when the Ramponis did. So we're getting a lot of traction on that. Yeah. But the celebration is important. Because, and Rob can back me up on this, like it could be from a baptism to a first communion, like the house is full. It's full. Like every time. You don't leave anybody out.
Nope.
Like I sit on the agricultural advisory committee for the city. It's kind of an aside, but you can get the feel of what the Italian culture is. So a lot of these big homes are being built on the farms. I support them because it's intergenerational.
Right.
And then I bring up my example first to say I totally understand. So we had a house on Gordon. We had a fruit stand and grew the eggplants and tomatoes on Gordon there. But you used to have New Year's Eve dinner. We had 52 people that could sit at our dining room table.
That's crazy.
So you want to talk about the amount of spaghetti and wine and all that. But that became such a generation. And our basement had a huge kitchen in it. Like even today, we only process a couple $100 pounds, but back then we had all our kids small. We'd do 400 or 500 pounds of tomatoes and tomato sauce every year. Well, that's a commercial production. That's not 12 jars.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
interesting.
It's exciting.
It is. So what? Back to the event. What is the time? Like, what does it run? And I know that you're mentioning there's going to be Worship Maritime Dice will be there to start, and there's going to be food you can buy, a car show you mentioned, photo booth, face painting, a whole bunch of stuff going on. But what time are people?
People are going to start arriving at 1.
Okay.
The ceremonies are going to be at 1:30.
Okay.
And and that'll be official from the mayor.
Yeah.
But we're also going to have a presence of the BC Dragoons. Because it's kind of a military thing, so they agreed to have some people coming us, because there's a real connection from the BC Dragoons to Italy, because there was his name escapes me now. Anyhow, he was with part of the BC Dragoons, and he drove one of the tanks. Eddie Dickens is his name. He drove one of the tanks in Ortona, which is in the center of Italy, when Canada liberated Italy. So the 100th anniversary of the Dragoons, they brought a tank from Edmonton, and they got him to drive it down Bernard Avenue.
Interesting, really.
So there's a real connection between Kelowna, especially, and there was lots of people that fought in World War I and II from here. In Italy specifically, but there's all those connections over there. But the celebration is at 1. It goes to about 5, but Italians and
go till 10.
time
means nothing.
Once you get talky, I got to talk with my hands, otherwise nothing comes out.
It's right.
but once you have that connection of what it is, talking about where you're from Italy, it becomes a real event, but a real positive event.
Yeah. Good connections for
Totally.
sure. You know, it's interesting. I'm going to change topics for a second, and then we'll come back to this. So is that I know you're involved, you said, in with the Italian consulate, or you're working with the Chamber of Commerce. And I know you've talked about this, and I find it fascinating. The opportunity from a business perspective between the two, like the trade, and as we're talking about like the pizza ovens and for the wineries and just all the stuff that's happening that maybe people don't know. I'd love you to speak around sort of the business opportunities within two countries.
Well, there is a real big business opportunity that's happened probably over the last 10 years. When you see all these big cherry packing facilities, 100% of the best equipment in the world is from Italy. It's called Unitech. And they bring all the techs when they're setting up the equipment from Italy. And so they've got a local office here where they do the sales out of. But, you know, that's an example. The other example is part of our mandate with the Italian Chamber is to do trade. So last year alone, I was on 4 Zoom meetings of companies from Italy that want to locate in Western Canada. Because that's our mandate. It could be from manufacturing to food to you name it. And how the presence of it is, I was telling Rob earlier, that through the Italian Chamber, they were able to negotiate this world-famous culinary institute called ALBA that's in Italy. They signed a working agreement with Vancouver City College to do Italian cooking classes there. And once a year, they have Italian design days. They bring all the architects and people from Italy to show them what the current trends over there. And at the last, they called it BuildX, or Building Owner Managers Association of BC. Italy did a session on the green buildings concepts that they do from Italy. So you get all this knowledge that's being shared more now than it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I find it fascinating when you were saying about the opportunities for businesses here or there and there here. Like it's crazy. Well,
a cousin of mine, we were there doing some family research in October. We met another cousin, and I just was stunned because we're at this cousin of ours' house. All of a sudden, this guy walks in. He's 6'7". I said, and he spoke English. I said, "You're at a place here because everybody's my height or shorter." So anyhow, he played Division II basketball in Italy. He thought he had a chance of getting to the NBA, but it never happened. But what he does now is he imports and exports jewelry out of Italy. So we're working on a project right now that he wants to import gold and diamonds from Canada to Italy, and he's got a client in Dubai. And why he's interested in the Canadian diamonds, because my understanding is the Canadian diamonds get more on the open market than any other diamond in the world because they're ethically mined.
Oh, interesting.
So with the connection, like, you know, the business connections are
endless,
are
really
huge.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
It is interesting. Lots of stuff on the go. So we want to leave people June 2nd.
Yes.
1 to 5. If people are wondering food, I think I checked earlier. It's $5 for Italian sausage and a bun, and I think it's $10 for some pasta with meatballs.
And there's no tax.
And no tax. And it's, you know, I guarantee the food's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you that for sure. And it'll be a fun time for sure. There'll be lots of festivities going on.
And it is. You won't miss it. But it is on Lawrence Avenue. Our clubhouse is right behind the Armories. That's on Richter and Lawrence, and we're just the next building. And the other exciting thing, we're in the Heritage Building too. So it was a Women's Institute Hall back in the 30s. So.
Interesting. Well, Dominic, thanks for coming in.
Rob.
Everyone listening, hopefully we see you there. Go say hi to Dominic. I'll be there as well. But we'll go and say hi and have a gelato.
Love to give you a hug. Italians most times don't shake hands. So you'll get a hug. You'll get a hug from me.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Dominic, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. No, thank you very much to Kelowna Now and Rob. Thanks.
Bye.